What happens if I introduce wild worker ants to my queen? Will they fight? Will they become friends? Or will they mutually coexist? Watch until the end to find out. In last week's video, I showed you guys this brand new queen ant that I caught. I originally identified her as Monomorium feronis, otherwise known as pharaoh ants. All of you awesome subscribers were incredibly quick to pick up on my mistake, and instead helped me correctly identify her. After many comments, I think you and I can fairly confidently say that this queen is in fact a Tetramorium bicaronatum queen. This knowledge got me extremely excited, and I'll explain why. Tetramorium bicaronatum are very good at establishing large colonies for various different reasons, which result in huge megacolonies within houses and backyards. These Tetramorium bicaronatum are actually polygynous, which means that the colony will operate and thrive with multiple egg-laying queens present. Long story short, this is an ant keeper's dream. As well as this, similarly to Argentine ants, these cheeky ants actually inbreed within their own colony, theoretically resulting in an immortal colony that will live and grow forever if given the resources. The one downside to this species is that raising a queen ant from scratch is usually very difficult with low success rates. However, once again, this species has an answer for that. Overall, Tetramorium bicaronatum are very social ants, and will usually happily accept foreign workers and queens into the existing colony. This is awesome news for us, as now I can literally go upstairs to my kitchen and catch some worker ants to give to my queen. I went upstairs and lifted a couple of pots where I normally find these guys roaming around. Once I found a pot containing the ants, I brought it outside onto my deck, along with a takeaway container and a very soft paintbrush. This is so I can brush the ants off into the container before introducing them to my queen. I've seen my mate the ant keeper do something similar over on his channel, although he coats the rim of the container with fluon, a liquid that when dried, serves as a barrier that the ants can't walk over, which seems to make the entire process easier. Perhaps I should invest in more of this stuff in the future. I begin brushing off ants before taking out the entire root system of the plant, hoping an entire small colony is residing within. However, I had no luck finding a colony, though there were roughly 4 or so workers that I managed to collect in my takeaway container. I put the lid back on and took my little prisoners downstairs. Here's the queen roughly 3 or so days after catching her, still no eggs present whatsoever, though she's taken decent care to make sure that her home was relatively clean. Before introducing any more workers, I took this opportunity of one colony member present to remove the cricket leg from her test tube. I was nervous yet excited to introduce these foreign workers to the colony. Would the queen kill them? Would they team up and kill the queen? Or would they live happily ever after? I grabbed a small amount of cotton that I'll use to gently pick up the workers, before putting them inside the test tube. I've seen people use tweezers for this exact same process. However, I would highly recommend against this, as there's a decent chance you'll hurt the ant in the process. With this technique, the ants are simply picked up lightly, pressed between some cotton. It was now time for the first worker to be introduced to the queen. The queen and the worker remained separate for a decent period of time, not noticing each other for a while, until finally they met face to face. I've said this before and I'll say it again, ants literally remind me of miniature dogs. From bull ants that look up to you with their puppy dog eyes, to ants interacting with each other, just like this. The perfect analogy to describe their interaction is when 2 dogs meet for the first time at a dog park. They suss each other out, sniffing them up and down, before deciding whether or not to fight or be friendly to one another. I'm hoping that things don't go downhill from here, though after a while, it seemed to be somewhat of a success. For the next couple of workers, I introduced them to the queen and watched them interact, not only to ensure the queen's safety, but also because this is such an awesome and interesting experience to watch. For this particular ant that I introduced, it looked like things weren't going that well at all. The new worker was curling its abdomen towards the queen, as if she was trying to sting her. Was all this hard work for nothing? The worker had the queen's head pinned between her mandibles. They were locked in for quite some time, until I noticed something absolutely breathtaking. The queen had just laid some eggs. Was this some kind of ritual that the worker ants do when they first meet the queen to entice her to lay some eggs? I've never seen anything like it, let alone a queen ant laying eggs before my very eyes. Not only had the queen accepted her new workers, she even began laying eggs. This gave me incredible hope for the future of this colony. Later on, I decided to add even more workers. Slowly but surely, the colony was growing. Earlier today, the colony had just 1 queen. Now, over 15 workers. By the end of the day, she was settled with over 20 workers. After a long and tedious last couple of hours, I decided to reward this new colony with a cricket. While doing so, I lost 3 workers, though I caught them in their own separate container, to reintroduce to the colony later. These Tetramorium bicaronatum absolutely destroy the cricket they were fed, slicing its hard exoskeleton with their powerful mandibles. Overall, this was a very successful experiment. Since making this video, I've already added one special new worker. Try and guess what caste it is down below in the comments. I found out that these are a relatively common species across the world, so also let me know down below in the comments if you've tried this technique before, but I highly suggest you do as much research as you can before trying anything like this, as it comes with risks. On that note, subscribe for more frequent ant keeping and catching videos. Ant Invasion out.